Well, there never is.
But
You and I have discussed this so many times. The CFL is their own worst enemy.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live once again back to your regularly scheduled program on the Hughes Sports Podcast. Across from me is the old man. How are you doing after a week off?
I had to take a holiday from you for a week. And I did notice you needed two, not one, but two people to come in to fill my shoes.
Yeah, again, because if you listen to the episode, it's because you
They
are
got big
flamboyant.
shoes.
You have big shoes to fit. You're a lot of energy, and I didn't think one of those guys would work.
Good day, everybody. Welcome, February 16th edition of the HSP. If you're watching, please let us know where you're watching from. Say, hey, I'm from. We'll give you a shout out. We'll give your hometown a shout out as well.
Yeah, so we are the Hughes Sports Podcast. We chat about everything that's going on in the world of sports in BC, including
And sometimes elsewhere.
Vancouver Canucks, BC Lions. Those are our main two focuses.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, those are my two main focuses.
Yeah.
Sometimes when the NHL season goes...
Oh, look at BC. Canucks. What do you think of the new background?
BC Canucks.
What do you think of the new background? Pretty cool.
See a little piggy in the background too?
I don't see a little piggy.
Where my thumb is.
Is that a little piggy?
Little Canucks piggy.
Got a Canucks pig.
Yeah. So, let's just jump into it because...
Yeah, let's do it.
We've got a lot to cover. I mean, you've been gone for 2 weeks. And the Canucks just never cease to have storylines going on with them. Never.
No, they're a boring team. I mean, all they do is win. And
I'll start with this one then. Nice and easy.
Okay.
2023 is bad for the Canucks. 13-1 since January 1st, 2023. And that is not like, oh, we're in the middle of the pack. That is dead last in the NHL.
Oh, is it dead? You did that research? It's actually dead last?
Dead last in the NHL.
That's sad.
By points, by wins, and by point percentage. So no matter which way you dice this up, this team sucks.
Yes! I love it. Keep tanking. Tank for Bedard. Tank for Bedard. Do we need to say it anymore? Come on. Let's face it. This season's done. We're not doing anything this season. Let's not pretend that we're going to. And let's just keep losing. And we're now, I think, fifth worst in the CFL. I was doing a bunch of research for the CFL today. I think we're fifth worst in the total league standings.
Yes, so we are 28th of 32.
Yes!
We are technically tied with the Arizona Coyotes, but they have the tiebreaker on us. So they are 27th. Now, something we do need to talk about with the Canucks, the goaltending has just been atrocious. Thatcher Demko has been out since, I think, the middle of December, and we were told there was going to be a 4 to 6 week injury, and I think we're going on week 11.
Yeah, but he's coming back, obviously, because we put...
Well,
we put Martin on waivers. Now, I meant to check before we came live.
Yes.
Martin did
clear waivers.
Make it through clear waivers.
Yeah. So Martin cleared waivers, and then what we did was we called up Artur Silovs last night to play it.
How do you say his last name?
Silovs.
Silovs. I was calling him something totally different last night.
Artur Silovs. And technically, we're not sure if that's the North American pronunciation, or I don't know exactly where he's from, or that actual pronunciation, but this is the one that the Canucks are going.
So it was his first game in the NHL, and they fed him to the Rangers.
What is the logic behind that? Can you explain it to me?
No. Can you explain anything the Canucks have done this year? If anybody can explain anything the Canucks have done at all this year, they're better than I am, because nothing they do has made sense, from the way they treated their coach, the way they've dealt with free agents, the way they've signed and not signed. It's just random.
The only good thing they've done this year is they brought back
only good thing. They what?
Brought back the skate jersey. It's the only good thing they've done. I know you don't like it because, like, you were probably very drunk during those years, and
What year was the skate jersey, Jake? We just talked about it.
the '94 run was the skate jersey.
Pavel Bure, which, by the way, was going to be your name if
If you,
I
yeah,
wasn't.
I think we should talk about that story right now, bringing up Pavel Bure and the skate jersey. I was born in 1993, February of 1993. Just had my 30th birthday. I'm officially old now. Yeah, this is your story to tell.
I was waiting for you to continue. So, Jake was premature. Jake wasn't supposed to be born in February. He was supposed to be born in April, I think it was. Yeah, I think it was April. It was 30 years ago. It was a long time ago. I forget. But I'm pretty sure it was April because you were 2 months premature.
I believe that's correct.
And I was rudely woken up one morning by his mom. And apparently we had to go to the hospital because her water was broken. And so off we went to the hospital. But there was a Canuck game on that night. So she's in labor. There's a dad's room in the we were at the Royal Columbian Hospital in New Westminster, British Columbia. And there was a dad's room just down the hall from her room. So I kept running back and forth, because there was a hockey game on. And your mom made the comment, if you're not here when this baby's born because you're watching the Canucks, we're naming him Pavel. So, Jake, you almost were a Pavel.
I would have probably been the least Russian Pavel you have ever met.
Yeah. Could have Jake Pavel. I wanted Jake Pavel, but she wouldn't let me do it.
Nah, it makes sense. But yeah, I mean, the Canucks, there's no direction to where we're going.
None. I mean, we've talked about it almost every episode, and it's just a continuing story. As most of you know, I'm friends with Rod Peterson of the Rod Peterson Show. That's a daily talk show for 2 hours on YouTube and Game Plus TV network. And he had Sakaris on, I think, just the other day from Sakaris and Price. And you could see how pained this gentleman was, whose job is 24/7, 7 days a week. His job is to talk about the Canucks. That's what he does. He covers the Canucks. He's paid to cover the Canucks. He gets to go to all the Canuck games. You could literally hear the pain in his voice as he was trying to. You can't even defend them.
No.
Jake and I have said it many times in the past. I will defend my Canucks. See, I did it, Jake. I will defend my Canucks to the day I die. I will. I love them. They're my team. But I can't defend them this year. Neither could he. It's painful.
There's nothing to defend. Like, there's not a decision where you can look and be like, okay, I understand why they did this.
We could make shit up. Oh yeah, I could understand why they signed JT Miller and let.
No, you can't. I'm sorry. Anyone who
that's what I mean. But I could make it up.
No logic behind it.
But I could make it up and make bullshit up and just say whatever I wanted. But in reality, it's got to be. I feel for those reporters of the Canucks who have to every day sit and try to talk about them, because I'm sorry. I even went out this year and spent, I don't know, $35 a month on Sportsnet, so I could actually watch all the games. I'm canceling that. It's not worth it to me.
Because you don't want to watch.
Jake's like, what? Hold time out, he says. I watch that.
I'll have to find new games to watch. New ways to watch the games. But
it's okay. No, Chris watches it too. So, hey, Chris, if you're watching, you won't be able to use my Sportsnet for much longer.
Yeah, but he's a Flames fan, so he can get away with just your normal Sportsnet logins.
No, because he doesn't have cable.
I don't. Yeah, we'll move on from that.
Yeah.
The Canucks are in a position where the organization from the very top wants a quick rebuild. And we've talked about it many times. It's the ownership group that Francesco Aquilini is a chairman of, and his dad was. Jim Rutherford's actions and Patrick Alvin's, because we need to start including Patrick Alvin on these decisions now, because Jim Rutherford is taking a step back. And
Jim Rutherford is taking a step back.
yeah, he's going to be less media facing, basically.
I wonder if this feeds into the rumors that Jim Rutherford wanted out.
I think so. I think it's.
Why wouldn't you?
Well, and I mean, we're salesmen. We both have grown up. My entire life you've been a salesman of some sort.
Yeah.
When you're selling someone on something, you're not going to tell him how you actually are 99% of the time. Let's be honest.
Well, yeah.
When you go into a job interview, when you go to sell someone, you're on your best behavior. Now, when Jim Rutherford met with Francesco Aquilini, do you think Aquilini was telling him exactly how he actually is and how much micromanaging there is? And
Not
blah,
a
blah,
chance.
blah, blah?
Not a chance.
Now, Jim Rutherford's been at the job for just over a year. Alvin's been in just over a year now. Are they finally seeing what the team is and what management is? And they keep saying that it's not going to be that long of a rebuild.
Oh.
But you can't keep this core team. I'm sorry, you can't.
If we get lucky somehow and win that lottery, it's not going to happen because it's not Vancouver's way. It's just the curse of the Canucks. So I have no...
From day one of the organization being in the NHL.
We're not going to do it.
No.
If it happens and we get Bedard, that changes everything.
No.
The whole world changes. The whole...
I don't think so.
Universe comes together in a nice ball.
No, it doesn't.
Because then we can build off it. And
okay, cool.
we're only talking 1 to 2 years. As it is right now, we're 5 years away from doing anything.
I think within 5 years. I think by the time Thatcher Demko's contract is up, we'll be a playoff contender again. And he signed a 5-year contract, I believe.
Yeah, I think he did too. Yeah.
And that's why my article that's up at esports.ca.
Where you just had to throw that in there, right? Podcasts. Because apparently I forgot to do mine.
Yeah, you did.
So
you can read article.
I'll do mine tomorrow.
No, it makes no sense for the supposed trade rumors about Demko.
Do you think they should?
No. My entire article points out how you can't. It would be the stupidest move of this franchise history, and we traded away Linden. We traded away this. That's what I'm saying. We traded away Linden for Messier because Messier was going to take us.
Dude, go back.
Which one?
We traded away Cam Neely.
Yeah, I would say if you trade Demko at this point, for no matter what your return is, that would be the worst trade in Canucks history. We
could trade him to Calgary because apparently they need a goalie. I'm not feeling guilty. I'm good. I'm enjoying this, and you know what? Damn it. I'm allowed to enjoy the fact that he's not playing well this year. We're talking about Calgary's the Calgary Flames goalie Markstrom. Just gets me a little smile on my face. No. Yes, we shouldn't be happy about somebody else's downfall. He's just having an off year.
He's having an off year. I don't think it's a downfall. But
it's an off year. And you know what? It looks good on them.
But
and they're my second team.
The Flames are having a complete off year.
Oh, Flames suck.
They
I would be shocked if they make the playoffs, to be honest. I can't see it.
I would be shocked if Daryl Sutter's around next year. Start the season.
I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't make this year.
I say they play him out because they're on that cusp of making the playoffs. And if you're going to make a change, you would have made it by now. You've only got 20 odd games left.
Yeah, but they're that close. I mean, you bring a new coach in, and look what happened to the Canucks. Not this year, but last year when we brought in Bruce. There it is.
But
right?
I think you wait. I think you wait until the new year, and you get a whole new system in place from the get-go.
they have so many issues. I don't think it's a coach. I think it's culture. Myself.
What culture? Like I would agree with you. Last year, I would have 100% agreed with you. But you got rid of Goudreau. You got rid of Tkachuk. Who's your core now? There is no core. There is no culture to be built around.
No.
Right? And I think that might be the issue is that they're not a cohesive unit. They're a bunch of players playing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right? No, I totally agree.
Last night watching the Rangers, they're a cohesive unit. The top three lines are all built very similarly. You've got a guy who's hard to play against, runs into the net. You've got a center who is great at his job. And you've got that third person that's either the sniper or the handoff guy to the sniper.
Well, that's the thing about the Canucks. I shake my head so many times when I'm watching the Canucks because bring Bo back and you have three good solid lines. Like you look at those players on paper.
Yeah.
They're a solid team. Defensively, obviously, is our issue. We have Hughes, and that is it.
So
Quinn can't do it by himself.
Oliver Ekman-Larsson got injured last night.
Oh, did he?
He got injured last night.
Oh, crack.
The only plus side to that is that we now get to see line pairings of, I think it was Quinn, Hughes, Ethan Bear, Kyle Burrows, and Luke Shen, and then Riley Stillman and Tyler Myers. To me, that's a medium. Like you're not contending with that, but that's an okay defensive core. You've got Tyler Myers playing third line minutes, which is what he should be playing at this point. You have Burrows who's fast, and you've got Luke Shen who's a stay-home, hard-hitting defenseman, and then you've got Quinn Hughes and Ethan Bear, who, in my opinion, are your best two defensemen.
Well, see what I see. I mean, when I'm watching the games, I'll see them make one error.
Yeah.
And then it's a calamity of freaking errors. And it's like, it's just one on top of the other, on top of the other, on top of the other score.
Yeah.
And you can see it happening. Like I can literally be watching the game and I'll look over at Ellis and I'm like, oh, they're going to score. And sure enough, the opposing team scores because we're just running around like freaking pylons.
Good catch. But the
running around like pylons. How do you run around like a pylon?
Precisely, you don't. But that's the thing is
they run around like a chicken with no head. That's what they run around. That's what I was trying to say.
They get beat either outside or inside, and then all the structure's gone. There's no structure. And Rick Tocchet today after practice was talking, and I'm paraphrasing because I literally listened to this on the way home today, where Rick Tocchet was talking about. Someone asked him about like the practices, and like they're basically doing just very back to basics, like back to the ABCs of hockey. And his answer to that is like, why are you doing that? Don't you feel like it's going to hurt the players? They're going to be tired and they're not going to be able to perform during the games. And his response was, we're getting beat in the simplest ways and we're losing structure.
Oh yeah.
If we have a guy who's not willing to get in the drill, is not willing to get pushed through his defenseman or his defensive assignment, we stop the drill and we redo it. It's like, I don't care if we have to go back to the basics. It's things that these guys should be doing without thinking about it, and they're not. It's like, and I'm not blaming anyone for that, but we need to implement this.
I think under Boudreau, he was more just go and play hockey.
Yeah, which worked.
There was no structure.
This time last year, it worked.
Yeah, they were just going out and free-flowing.
But then this year, we got off to a bad start. Besser was hurt.
That's a bad start? That was a terrible start.
I still think that Demko was injured before he went out. He was playing through something because you don't have the season that you had last year and have the season you started with this year.
That's why I think Markstrom, there's two factors to Markstrom back to the Flames playing bad. He's having an off year. But also, and I think it has to do with the Canucks with Martin in net, the way they play in front of him changes. because they don't have that confidence in that the goalie's going to make the big save.
100%.
They don't have that. We can freewheel because we've got Markstrom backstopping, and he's not going to. He's a superstar. He's not going to let anything in.
Exactly. We can have those defensive gaps where you get beat on the outside, but Demko's going to make that big save. Martin's not, and Demko earlier this year was not making those saves, and that's
exactly. Yeah, totally agree. Holy crap! Why are we agreeing so much? This is not right.
Because that's how bad the Canucks organization is. Let's just make this perfectly clear. Because me and you, we agree on a lot of things when it comes to sports opinions. There's not a lot that we agree on,
except which teams we're cheering for.
Yep, but. There's nothing else you can do. Like looking at this team, I have Cap Friendly pulled up, which allows you to look at cap hits and everything like that.
Oh, I thought you said Cat Friendly. I'm looking. You're looking at kitty porn while we're on the air. Would you stop that?
Wow. So
I'm sorry, folks. I blame his mother.
Oliver Ekman-Larsson is making $7.2 million. He is our third highest paid player on the team.
How?
Behind Patterson and Hughes. Two players he should be behind, but he should be behind Tyler Myers. He should be behind Ethan Bear, Travis Dermott, Riley Stillman, Luke Shen, and Kyle Burrows on the defense. He is. I've never seen a defenseman fall off this hard. Like, we used to rag on Edler for his speed. When Edler's speed went on him and a shot, he turned into a physical stay-at-home defenseman. You didn't like him. I know you didn't like him. But he did. He was consistent.
Hate him.
And your hatred of him was consistent.
Look at his plus minus. That's the only stat you need to look at for a
No, it is not.
For a defenseman. That's the only one you need to look at. How many times were you on the ice when the puck when you were scored on?
What are you talking about?
That's your plus minus.
Defenseman. I know what plus minus is. That's
okay. I was just making sure you understood.
The archaic stat for
the archaic stat. So what's the new stat? Ice time. It's how much time you had on the ice and how much time was in the defensive zone. Shut the hell up. Plus or minus, wins or losses. That's the only thing that matters.
That is not true. Yeah.
Shot blocks. Oh.
No, there's all sorts of different things, including like the percentage of start time in the offensive zone versus the defensive zone. Your Corsi rating,
See, folks, we never agree. Your horsey rating. What? Horsey. How many times you freaking got on a horse?
No, Corsi.
Huh?
Corsi. Corsi.
What the is a Corsi?
It's a very advanced stat that I do not know how they calculate it.
See, this is what's wrong with people like you. Is you throw out all these freaking stats. Oh, the Corsi stat, and they did this stat, and that stat, and this stat. Then someone asks you, I have no idea.
No, I said I don't know how they do it. Then let me finish. You started throwing words out. I'm trying to find where it is, but I don't think they have it on the site.
You have to excuse me, folks. My lungs are still not doing good.
So,
plus minus, I can explain.
Yeah.
Goals, I can explain. Wins, losses, I can explain. That's all that matters. Oh, and assists. We'll go assist as well. Those are the stats that you should be paying attention to. Corsi?
On ice goal differential. I think that's a pretty important stat. That's
plus minus.
On ice expected goal differential. So how much you're impacting the game versus what you're not impacting the game. The only player
he intended to kick the puck in the net. I knew what his intent was.
Yeah, no, we're not going to get back into 2010 playoffs. 2010.
Was it 2010?
I was in Germany.
Oh, maybe you were. Okay. Yeah, okay.
I know I was, because I was awake until like 3 o'clock in the morning with a headphone in my ear listening to the broadcast on a laptop that shouldn't still be working.
That's hilarious. Oh, my goodness, kid.
So,
have you figured out what Corsi means yet?
No, I haven't Googled it. We're going to move on.
Because he can't.
The trade deadline is, I could, but we will be here for an hour to get your brain to understand it. The trade deadline is in 2 weeks.
Really? No.
2 weeks, March 3rd. 2 weeks and 1 day.
Wow. How did we get halfway through February already?
Right? 2 weeks and 1 day.
It's
is the trade deadline.
March the
March
2nd?
3rd. March 3rd, Friday.
Oh, my goodness. So we're going to be on the air on the 2nd.
Yes.
We should, yeah, no, that'll work because not much is going to happen on the 3rd, you would think.
What do you think a successful trade deadline looks for the Canucks at this point? We've already traded our big ticket with.
We made our big ticket. And you know what? I think they did okay with that.
I think they did well with it. Did we talk about that?
Good job. Yeah, good job. I'm giving them kudos for when they deserve it. What else? Well, we either before the trade deadline or in the off season, sometime before the start of the next season, we need to do something about our defense. Our defense isn't good enough to compete in this league.
No.
I think we're fine in goal if Markstrom, if Demko can come back to where he was.
Yep.
I think we'll be fine. But we got to make some moves for defense, whether we trade
or we have. So there's Brock Besser's agent has been authorized to find a deal, right? Like all signs point that the Canucks have kind of given up on him, or management has given up on Besser.
Wasn't it Besser who said no? Who was it that said that they wanted to play in Vancouver?
Demko? Just recently?
Yeah, it was a free agent coming up to free agency. Blank. I don't know who it was. I apologize.
No. Brock Besser. Yeah, Brock Besser's agent has been given authority by the Canucks to go find a trade. Basically. So
what do you get for a Besser?
That's a problem.
You got a first line forward for
on a competing team. He's a great second or third liner because his foot speed isn't there.
For our team, he's a first 100%. Liner.
Yep.
Plus a prospect. What's the other guy? Who was the other? There was 2 players plus a pick.
For Beauvillier. Beauvillier and Ratu.
Ratu, that was the other one. So a prospect, and then you got a first round pick somewhere in this mix. We'll find out where that lands. So for a Besser, what are you going to get? You're going to get a pick? Couple picks?
I think it was Frank Saravelli, a well-respected insider, was commenting on Sportsnet 650 today that the Canucks are willing to eat up to like a couple million, 1 million in salary cap and retain that to be able to trade Brock. Problem is all the teams have cap issues.
Well, everybody has cap issues.
So can you get a second round pick and not have to take salary back?
Are you going to get a first round pick and take the million?
If you're getting a first round pick, it's got to be Brock and it's got to be at 50%. I don't think the team wants to do that.
No,
I don't think Brock's not worth a first round pick.
What is Brock being paid?
Let me look that up. I believe
4 point something.
Oh, I think it's higher than that. I think it's like 6.5.
Oh, is it that high?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a tough contract then.
Yeah.
In this
Brock
new
Besser,
age.
6.65, and it's on the books until 24-25 season.
Yeah. So
you get 2 years of them at that cost. So if you're getting a first round pick, you're probably going to have to eat $3 million of them.
And I mean, he's going to re-sign about the same. He's not getting much more.
No. Well, that all depends. In 3 years, he might have shot up in production and he might have shot down.
But if he gets traded,
shot up and shot down.
But if he gets traded, do you not think the team that is receiving him is going to try to sign him to an extension?
Well, they can't. He's got 3 years left. Or 2 years left after this year.
Oh, does he? I thought could you not extend him now?
No, you cannot.
Oh, okay.
You have to wait until the July 1st or whatever the free agency day is of the last day of the contract, or of the last start of the last year of the contract.
Gotcha. So again, what do you get?
Are you happy with a second round pick?
And how does that help your defense?
You draft a defenseman.
Is there going to be defensemen in high enough in the draft that you can plug and play?
Well, and I don't think it's going to be plug and play. We're looking 2 to 3 years.
Exactly.
Right. But right now we have potential for 3 picks in the top 2 rounds. Right. Because the Islanders might move to next year.
Oh,
But if you
okay.
can get another second round pick and you pick 2 defensemen out of those 4 picks, one of them's going to work out more than likely.
Yeah.
Right. So I think
But
it's
again, I'm trying to think like the owners of the Canucks who want 2 years. They keep saying it. They want a quick retooling, not a rebuild. There was somebody on TSN, I tried to find it earlier, one of the old Canucks that made a comment about retooling, and he says anybody who believes that the Canucks are retooling don't know this game whatsoever, because it's impossible to retool for the Canucks. So, but keeping with that 2-year thing, we need a defenseman now. We can't draft someone and hope that in 2 or 3 years that we can play them.
But I think that's the easiest way to disguise that to ownership. You draft a guy, you hype him up, and you say, look, he's going to be ready in a year max. Deep down inside, the scouts know, management doesn't know. It's going to take 2.5, 3 years. Then you go back to him in half a year and say,
and it's obvious the owners of the Canucks have no clue how to run a hockey team.
Well, not just that, but like they know how to run a hockey team. I disagree with they don't know how. They did. They were in charge during the time when we were the most medically advanced, technologically advanced team in the league.
What year was that?
From the late 2000s, 2007, 2008.
When did they take over?
I believe they took over in I want to say 2006, and I don't know why that number jumped into my brain. Well,
I know I if you go to our website, HughesSports.ca, in my article, I talk about what year that they took over. I want to say it was in that era.
You're gonna have to.
Because were they the owners during 2011?
Yes.
Oh, were they? Okay. You could have fooled me. I wouldn't have known that. Would not have known that.
Boom. November 8th, 2006.
See, there you go. Good memory. Good memory.
And then bought the remaining 50% in 2007.
Right, exactly, and that's when they got hauled into court.
Oh no, sorry, that was 2006 was when they purchased the remaining 50.
Yeah,
2007 is when they got pulled into the courtroom and all of that fiasco. Which honestly, until reading your article, I totally forgot about.
Yeah, no, I remembered it. I mean, they're not nice people. They're just not. They're not nice people whatsoever. Anyways, we talked about that before. We're not going to rehash it.
But they used to be the most technologically advanced team.
In spite of the owners?
I don't think so. They, from everything like Mike Gillis and I can't think of the name, Lawrence Gilman. From what they said, no, they had everything that they went to ownership and said, we need this. They said, why? They got it. If it was a reasonable request.
Interesting.
And the only thing I can think of is that I can't think of Francesco's father, but he's the head of the Aquilini.
Angelo. No.
Luigi.
Angelo?
Luigi got sick.
Yes.
In the late 2000 or in 2010, 2011, I believe.
That would make sense.
And basically, it was Francesco's to run, and I believe that's when things started going downhill.
Run it into the freaking ground. But anyway, we've talked about that. We beat that dead horse.
We have beat that dead horse.
As they say, don't feed the dead horse. It's kind of dumb.
I don't beat the dead horse, not don't feed the dead horse.
Well, you don't feed a dead horse either.
But why would you even be throwing food?
Well, because you got to feed the other horses, but you don't feed the dead horse.
But you beat the other horses and you beat the dead horse. That's what that statement implies. Do not report me to PETA. Just explain.
Wow. What are you beating horses for?
We're moving on from beating horses. You know what you can check out rather than beating horses or feeding horses? HSports.ca. please do check it
Yes.
out. We post every podcast there. You can listen to it right on the site. You can read articles. Hopefully, we're going to be posting more and more and more and more.
If
on
the
there.
old man gets busy and
But yeah, basically, I want this like the HughesSports.ca to kind of be the home base of everything that we do when it comes to the podcast and news.
And if you guys have ideas, send us a note. We have our Facebook page. You can message us on there.
Leave a comment on the YouTube video.
And please, 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 it really does help if you go to YouTube and hit that little subscribe button and the like button. It does something with Jake's nerdy shit. And
I don't
it makes
know.
us
No, to be
more,
fair,
more
I don't even
important.
understand that nerdy shit. Also, if you are listening on podcast platforms, please do follow us and subscribe and a 5-star rating. They really like the algorithms for the podcast platforms and everything. Really do love the subscribes, follows, and 5 stars.
And that's our commercial for this episode of the Hughes Sports Podcast.
So
transitioning, we just got through Hallmark Day. That's what I call it, Hallmark Day, February 14th, Valentine's Day. The one holiday I don't participate in.
Observe or participate?
Participate in whatsoever. But it was also CFL Free Agency Day.
Correct.
CFL is kind of a unique league because they open up free agency window a week before Free Agency Day. So teams for 1 week have the ability to negotiate with players leading up to the actual day of.
So I'm going to jump in here because that is not true anymore. The CFL or the NFL has it, as does the NHL.
Oh, do they really?
They all have a legal tampering period now.
Oh, I thought it was just one of those weird Rouge things of the CFL.
Not anymore.
If anybody doesn't know what the Rouge is in the CFL, stop listening, turn your damn thing off, or Google it.
Don't listen to him. A Rouge is incorrectly called 90% of the time it happens in a CFL game as a single point for kicking it through or a touchback. It's not a goddamn touchback. It's a Rouge.
It's a Rouge.
You point for it.
Which means red in French.
Which makes no sense. But
makes no sense, but I think it had something to do with the Russians a long time ago, but let's carry on. So it was CFL Free Agency Day, and the Lions were busy, man. They done good on the Free Agency Day. I'm just kind of going to go over who we picked up from other teams. We got ourselves a backup quarterback. I guess we're going to run with Vernon Adams as our starter, and we're bringing in Vernon's backup from Montreal, Dominic Davis. He is a 6'4", 215-pound, 33-year-old out of the States. He went to Boston College. He bounced all around the NFL. He was with the Falcons, the Titans, the Colts. He had a cup of coffee with the Stampeders. Didn't even make it through training camp with the Stampeders. Went to Winnipeg, was in Winnipeg for a few years, and then over to the Red Blacks, and then over to Montreal, and now over to BC. It's not uncommon. When I first saw that, I went, oh, how good can this kid be? I mean, he's bounced all over the place. It's not uncommon in the CFL for quarterbacks to bounce around. You look at even the greats, they bounced around all over the place.
Just
Flutie.
For example, not just that, like currently, Bo Levi Mitchell just got traded.
Yeah. But that's 2 teams. You look at Flutie, at least 3 teams that I can think of off the top of my head. Toronto, BC, Calgary.
But then you've also got Anthony Calvillo. But he was an Alouette.
But rare. You look at
Ricky Ray bounced around.
Ricky Ray, Smiling Hank. Right?
Yeah.
It's everywhere. It's
no
common.
There's no reason to be loyal to a franchise.
No, exactly.
There's no such thing as in the NFL. There's a franchise tag where you can pay people more money. There's no reason for that in the CFL because it's not a thing.
So we picked him up, and I think he's a good ad, to be honest. For a good backup.
I pulled up his stats from last year.
Yeah.
Attempted 25 passes, completed 19 for 253 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions.
How many games did he play?
It says 18 games played, but I don't think that's correct.
He probably dressed for 18 games.
That's what I'm thinking. So
because there's no way he's only had 25 passes in 18 games.
Yeah, no.
Right.
Let's see here. He started none. I don't think he started any of them. He's come in relief duties in all of them.
Exactly. So I think a good pickup. Good job. I'm holding out hopeful optimism with Vernon Adams. He didn't do great last year, but now the offense was based around somebody else.
And he came in late. This wasn't his team that he had from the very beginning.
No, that's what I mean. And when you create an offense, you create it around your quarterback. So it was created around, I'm blank on his name.
Nathan Rourke.
Thank you. So let's see. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and see what happens. Hopefully, I'm crossing my fingers. I'm hoping that.
And in all honesty, Vernon Adams, I mean, if you complete 65.5% of your passes as a backup, that's good. And that's the thing is Vernon Adams came in as a backup to fill in for until he came through.
But he was 3-8.
No, I don't think that's right. I think we talked about this a couple podcasts ago, and I think we had that wrong.
Well, Rourke was 8-1 when he got hurt, and then Adams took over from there. So I mean, I don't think we had more than 12.
So he was after 9 games, right?
Yeah.
So 1, 2, 3, 4 wins and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 losses. So 4 and 5.
4, 5. Okay.
And I don't think he actually played week 10.
Yeah, he played all the weeks.
I don't think so. I thought they held him out a week after Rourke got injured.
Oh, maybe we
because
put what's his name in?
Yeah,
could be.
O'Connor?
Anyway,
O'Connor?
So let's. I'm holding out optimism for him. We'll see.
Yeah.
The team figures they can run with him. So then we picked up Justin McInnes. I think this is one of the best pickups that the Lions have done. Myself, 26-year-old, 6'5", 210 pounds, wide receiver. He's a Quebec boy, and he's played for the Riders for his whole career since 2019. He was a first-round draft pick. We needed to replace Burnham. Burnham retired.
Yep.
Huge shoes to fill, but I think this is gonna come close to filling it. I mean, I'm not saying he's a Burnham, but it definitely fills that little bit of a hole we had.
Well, and Dominic Rhymes resigned with the Lions after the report said it sounded like he was gonna leave.
Yeah, that was weird.
Or wanted out. And it was. I wonder how much
the report was he requested a trade
and then resigned. How much of that was? Oh, you turned yourself off.
Sorry, you actually posted it.
Yep.
And then the next day I read it and I was like, what is Jake doing? So I had to go back to what you posted.
From a very reliable source like that. I'm pretty sure it's Farhan Lalji. So I don't when it comes to CFL, Farhan is usually
he's the go-to guy
for the West of Canada. On the East, they have different people, but Farhan's usually very good in Vancouver. And I want to know how much of that was positioning. I know it's not the NFL where you're going to make the difference between $2 million and $1 million, but is that making the extra $10,000?
I think it was sign me or effing trade me.
Yeah,
you got a choice.
That might have been what got leaked and was.
Yeah.
If you're not going to do this, trade me. And
this is what I want. If you can't do it, I totally understand.
Yeah, right, and it makes sense. So
yeah,
I'm happy Dominic Rhymes is back though.
So then we've shored up our offensive line a huge. When I say huge, I mean huge. We got Michael Couture, Out a nice BC boy out of Burnaby, British Columbia, 29 years old, 6'4", 303 pounds. For you people who don't understand poundage, that's 135 kilograms. That's massive.
Time out. Who would be listening to the show that doesn't understand pounds?
I don't know.
Kilograms.
I don't know.
Just asking. Okay.
Young people.
If you're listening to the show and you don't understand pounds and only kilograms, please leave a comment or get at us on Twitter.
Or just turn off. Just turn the show off because you're too young to be listening.
Don't turn the show off. Don't listen to him. He's crazy and he's old.
So he was drafted by Winnipeg back in 2016. Second round pick, 10th pick overall in the second round. And he has played there since. Obviously won 2 Grey Cups there. So looking for big things from this guy. I was going to call him a kid, but when you're 6'4" and 300 pounds, you call him sir. And nothing more. Just, yes, sir. Okay, thank you, sir. Thanks for coming out.
So just to put this in perspective, because I always like to know how tall someone is, Tyler Myers is 6'8". So only 4-inch difference there.
And he's a giraffe.
Tyler Myers is 229 pounds. 4 inches and 80-pound difference.
It's huge.
This guy's just giants.
He's going to be one of those guys on the offensive line that you're just going to notice because he's that much bigger than everybody else.
Yep.
Right? I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do.
And I believe he is a center position. He's going to be taking up the full-time starter center.
Sure.
Is the plan.
They just got him listed as an offensive lineman.
Which I believe would be continuing like year over year. I think 5 or 6 years in a row where we've had a BC boy playing the center position to start.
Cool.
Start the season.
Yes.
Random little facts.
Random fact. And then we got Chris Schluger,
I believe is how it's pronounced.
Okay. 27-year-old. Again, a big boy. 6'4", 305 pounds. Spent the last 3 seasons in Montreal. He dressed for 22 games. He's been kind of in and out of that lineup because he started 2 games as left tackle and then 1 at right tackle. So obviously a very versatile player.
Yeah.
And it really helps out because one of our main guys, Joel Figueroa, offensive lineman, is reportedly going to be signing with the Hamilton Ticats. So that kind of fills that hole, which is nice.
Well, and did Butler also signed with the Ticats, did he not? I think that's correct.
You know what? I didn't look. I could go and I sent you the whole list of who got who.
Yeah.
Who got who? And I could go back and try to find it.
Is now on the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
Yeah, okay.
Tiger Cats are going to be a very good team this year.
I only have one question. Have one question. Does the CFL have a salary cap?
No.
They do.
No, they don't. You just signed them to a personal contract.
It's like, holy crap. But they are going to be the team in the East.
Yeah, without even a question, he's going to be the team in the East. So one of the big signings that I don't think you got to is a gentleman named Antonio Williams, who's a national or an American player, running back, played for the Clemson Tigers last year. Clemson went 8-0 in the conference, 11-3 overall, so only 3 losses on the year. He's a wide receiver, or is he a running back? I believe he's a wide receiver. 56 receptions, 604 yards, 4 touchdowns. This could be the guy who is going to jump in and fill Burnham's shoes.
Yeah. So you've got 2. We're going to, if VA works out, which I can't see why he won't, we could have a damn good team again this year.
Yeah.
Remember, we were only one win away from going to the show.
And the big thing is the team's going to look different. It's not like it's the same team as last year.
No.
Like Winnipeg for the last couple years. It's been the same team. They made minor changes. The big players have all been there. You've had Andrew Harris swap out as kind of the biggest change. But this team's going to look very different with Vernon Adams Jr. instead of Nathan Rourke. You've got
huge
receiving core that's going to have a huge hole to fill with Bo Burnham leaving. Not Bo Burnham, Brian Burnham. Bo Burnham's a comedian.
That's hilarious.
I did it all week last week too.
That's hilarious.
I think it'll be a very fun season for the Lions.
I'm looking forward to it. I actually, whether it's because I've been off or just paying attention more, people keep bashing the CFL and, oh, they're in trouble. I think I'm excited about the 2023 season.
I am too. I don't disagree that they're not in trouble though. Like to me, they are one bad mistake from failure.
See, this is where I kind of take a deep breath and go, I have literally followed the CFL my entire life, 58 years. I don't remember the first 10, but apparently I watched it.
Yeah.
Went to games even, just because my older brothers wanted to go to games, so they had to take me. I have heard more times than I can count. If I had $1 for every time somebody told me this is the CFL's last year, the CFL's done. They're folding. We can't survive. They're done. I literally would be a millionaire. I'm not kidding you when I say that. It's the biggest problem. I shouldn't say it, but I'm going to, because you've got my blood pressure going. The biggest problem with the frickin' CFL is the contract they have with TSN. What the fudge did TSN do with free agency? I spent more frickin' time in the last 10 minutes going over the frickin' free agencies than the National Sports Network did.
Yep. And I'm shaking, like I'm nodding along, and the people who are watching can see it. People who are listening who can't. It's a frustration. Like I literally said 3 weeks ago, when we first started talking, talked about the free agency and how maybe we were going to do a show earlier, which didn't end up working out anyways. But what coverage?
None.
Do you ever hear from a player?
No.
Do you hear from coaches?
The only time I see a player or see a coach on any kind of sports that I watch is the Rod Peterson show, because he goes out and freaking gets them. His team is amazing. Duncan Kirk, 3 Down Nation, they do an amazing job. 3 Down Nation, all they do, they were freaking dedicated to the CFL. Check them out, folks. 3 Down Nation, they're one of the best out there.
But why isn't it on TV?
They literally had a scrolling. 3 Down Nation actually had a scrolling thing. Look at my hands going up and down real fast. For free agency. Why didn't TSN do a 1 hour, 2 hour show and bring on the Duncan Kirks of the world, of Canada, who really love this league and have the knowledge to be able to pass it on and hype up this freaking free agency day like they do in the NFL, like they do in the NHL, like they do in the XFL.
March 3rd is free agent, not free agent, but trade deadline for the NHL. You know what I'm going to be doing all day? Like, I'm starting a new job. I'm going to be working. Unfortunately, I'm not able to take the day off. It'll be my first week. But you know what I'm going to be doing the entire day? On one of my screens that I have set up, I'll have Sportsnet, I'll have TSN both set up, because I like to know what's going on. You know what I had to do to find out news from the CFL?
I had to search.
I texted you and said, what's going on? because I tried to Google it for 30 seconds, and you know what came up? NFL 2023 free agents. That's not what I want.
Literally, if I hadn't known about 3 Down Nation, which unfortunately, I mean, they're huge for the CFL fans.
Yeah, for the
diehards.
diehards.
If it wasn't for them, I would have no clue. Literally, I was refreshing their page constantly, and you could go to their page and for that day, and you'll see it was on their. I don't know what it was on Twitter or whether it was on Facebook or their. Maybe it was even their webpage. I forget, to be honest.
Their webpage.
And it was just constant. It was awesome. Yep. It was like the time 2:10. This is what happened. 2:15. This is what happened. So, when it started, it was hilarious because it was like noon, free agency, right? Or 10 o'clock our time, noon back east. And it was like 10:05, nothing. And then it was like 10:10. Would you guys do something? And then it just exploded.
Yeah. TSN, for the American listeners and viewers,
it's the ESPN
of the ESPN. We have 5 TSN channels. 5. You know what else we have? We also have ESPN or TSN Plus now, which is going to be holding a lot more exclusive content.
And we have 5 Sportsnet channels.
Sportsnet, we're not talking about Sportsnet right now because Sportsnet is broken up a little bit differently, and I understand it more. TSN has 5 channels. How many times have you gone to TSN to watch a show and it's not on 3 of the 5 channels? You go to watch CFL and it's on TSN 1, TSN 3, TSN 5. Why? Why? Put it on one. Give me 5 different options for sports. There's enough sports in Canada to have different sports. And if you're not going to do that, give us different commentators. The Manning cast in the NFL is fantastic. Have you heard of any bits of it?
No. I put my head on my hands like that because commentators we're both poker fans, folks. So we're going to I'm going to squirrel. Or as in my case, raccoon. Rod will get it. The announcer for the live at the bike last night, one of our favorite poker streaming people were on it, Kevin Martin, Kmart. The announcer for that, the commentator, oh my God, dude, you would have punched him. Like, he was so bad. It was the worst I've ever heard.
Fair.
Okay, sorry.
That's
squirrel moment.
That's how I feel about the CFL announcers.
Yes.
And so I remember probably about 9 years ago, I was talking about it with a friend of mine. And he explained to me the reason why a lot of UFC fans love Joe Rogan. A lot of people who are just getting the sport love Joe Rogan. He breaks it down for you to understand it. He explains the game and he gets it. I hate a lot of the American hockey commentators because they break the game down too small. I know the game very well. I prefer a higher level of commentary. The Manning cast is great for the NFL in that sense, is where Peyton Manning will literally be watching the game and say, oh, they're going to do this. And then they go ahead and run the play that he called. So if they say, yeah, they're going to run up the gut here, and they'll run up the gut, and he'll be like, this is what I saw. And he'll go back and say, well, you see, this guy's leaning forward a little bit more than he did on the last play. And you can see this guy's looking this way. It's the little things that make him an elite athlete. I like to hear about
What's the difference? What's the difference between a Manning and a CFL announcer?
He knows what he's talking about.
Come on. You have to look. I'm trying to think who is the quarterback.
Matt Dunnigan?
Dunnigan knows the CFL inside out. He was one of the best quarterbacks in the CFL. Top 10, I'll say, in the CFL in our time.
Can he use his words then? Can he explain what he's doing?
What's the difference between Manning and Dunnigan? Age. They keep saying they're trying to get the younger crowd in. When's the last time you've seen a new announcer for the CFL?
Last 2 years. There's been that young guy who's gotten the.
It's amazing, and he's good,
very good. But he's the play-by-play guy. He calls the games. He gets excited when plays are happening.
Yes,
there are times where clearly he's more biased to certain teams, which I don't like. if you're gonna have biased announcers,
Then have home team announcers.
Use your 5 channels that you have to have 2 broadcasts, a home broadcast for each team.
Yeah, exactly. That's never going to happen because they don't have the money to do that.
No,
CFL.
but that's.
I think they need to, rip up that freaking contract. I think they got 2 more years left in the TSN contract. When that's over, rip that effing thing up and open it up. Look at the NFL. How many freaking different networks air the NFL games? It's not just one. That's ridiculous.
There's 2.
There's no competition.
I think there's 2. No, there's 3. You've got NBC, you've got ESPN, and you've got Fox.
And then you have all your streaming.
Yeah. Then, well, the streaming isn't.
I don't think the CFL is allowed to stream because the TSN contract says they're not allowed.
Well, no. So the problem with live television, this is an entire conversation where I'd love to have an expert on.
Wow, we're running out of time here.
There's no time limit. We are a podcast. We run our own goddamn time.
We can do whatever we want.
It's my show, goddamn it.
It's our show.
My fucking show. Who came up with the idea? Who reached out to who? Who reached out to who for this? Who's the host? Who's the co-hosts?
Wow, he's getting angry, folks.
The CRTC is the reason the Canadian television communication assholes are the ones for the reason that we don't have the streaming services.
I'm muting him because he's swearing too much.
So we can't, anything that's on live TV, we can't stream. It's a reason why
CRTC?
That's why the WWE network in Canada is so much shittier than the one down in the States before they got rid of it.
Okay.
It's because you have to use it through a provider.
Makes sense. Well,
no,
it doesn't make sense, but it's CRTC.
It did make sense years ago. Now it doesn't.
Yeah.
So sorry, I pulled up an article here. 6-year extension in September 2019. So,
we're 2023, so we got 2 more years.
No, the league contract TSN was coming up for renewal after the 2021 season. So 6 years after the 2021 season.
No.
2027.
Fudge-a-macula. Then they've got to fix it. They've got to do something because it's literally hurting us. The biggest problem we're having right now is expansion. Everybody says 9 teams isn't enough. We need to go to 10, 12, whatever that number is. Well, guess what? It ain't going to happen until we renew this contract because you've got 9 owners and they split that whatever X amount of $1 million between 9 teams.
50 million, I believe. About 50 million to the CFL.
Between 9 teams.
Yeah.
Are you going to take 10? Because you're not getting anything extra from having a 10th team coming in. You're not benefiting in any way.
No.
You're losing.
Yeah. No,
what if we went 12? Oh my God, now. Right? It's not going to happen. And the only way this league grows is if we grow. We have to expand. We need a team in Quebec City. We need a team in Halifax.
Yeah.
I'd love to see another team in BC.
I don't think expansion is the issue. I think marketing is the issue in a lot of ways.
100%.
I think if you were able to get the younger generation into watching CFL, because out of my friends who are
the only one
who, let's face it, don't watch a lot of sports. Like out of my friends, I can name two like sports fans that I grew up with. They don't watch CFL.
No.
They watch hockey and they'll watch highlights of basketball and they're baseball fans.
You know what we should do? We should have a bring on a guest to the show that understands the CFL better than you and I do, and really dive deep into the back end of the CFL. I have somebody in mind.
The money, the actual financials, and how things work. Someone
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that'd be fantastic.
Yeah. I have somebody in mind that will be able to
Well-
speak freely, because there's not the person you're thinking of, because the person you're thinking of, I don't think can speak as
No, I
freely
don't. I'm
as
not
we
thinking of that.
want.
I wasn't thinking of that person until you put it in my head.
Okay. It's somebody else. But
well, we'll take this we'll take that
Yeah.
offline.
yeah.
But
Just
yeah,
thought I'd throw it out there, because my brain. If I don't say it, it's gonna go.
as the old said, we were running over and run over. We've gone a whole extra 6 minutes.
Wow.
Oh no. But again, we are the Hughes Sports Podcast.
That was a quick hour.
Always is.
And we always worry, oh my gosh, what are we going to talk about for an hour?
At this point, no, we're what? 6 episodes in? 7 episodes in? 6 episodes
Is
in?
it that many? 6.
6 episodes in.
Yeah.
I'm never concerned that I'm never going to have enough to talk about for an hour. Not whether you're here or just me, I can talk for an hour about this stuff.
God help them all if it's just you.
That's why I bring in other people. But again, please, everyone, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment, tell us what we're doing right, tell us what we're doing wrong. Follow us on
Thank you for listening.
Twitter. Follow us on Twitter at HSP Pod. Thank you so much. For anyone who does listen, we'll have some exciting news, I think, coming up for the NHL playoffs.
Oh.
But I'm going to leave that little cliffhanger there for you guys, and we will see you guys.
Cliffhanger for the old man, too.
We will see you guys next week here, same time, same channel.
Same bat time.